Hello there and welcome to the Mayor's Magazine. I'm Mick Cornett, the Mayor of Oklahoma City. Glad you're with us for this show for October 2011. In our first segment today, we're going to visit with State Senator David Holt. David worked on my staff up till a year ago, and at that time we worked on a project called the Route 66 project, in which we tried to take a look at how Route 66 had shaped Oklahoma City and try to remind people just what an important mother road it had been. David, welcome to the show.
Sure, welcome. Thank you. It's great to be back.
It's a big moment for you. You used to produce this show, and now here you are as our first guest on the October show.
I know. I mean, I'm the first guest. I really feel like I'm moving up in the world. Thank you for having me.
We worked on a project together about Route 66. Kind of talk about the genesis of it and your involvement.
Sure. Well, you know, as you know, Route 66 is a global icon. You know, I've eaten at the Route 66 Cafe in Rome, Italy. So it is as well-known a brand as there is associated with America around the world. For whatever reason, I don't think it was intentional, but here in Oklahoma City, we kind of forgot about it. You know, when you look at smaller towns, they make a big deal out of it. You know, there's lots of signs. A lot of their businesses are branded with Route 66. But it passes right through the middle of Oklahoma City, and we really didn't mark it at all. And so about 4 years ago, when I was in your office, Paul McCartney came through, and he and his girlfriend at the time were driving across Route 66 from Chicago to Los Angeles. And they stayed at the Skirvin, and they ate at Nona's. And I think it really brought to, just brought to our, right in front of our faces that, gosh, here was one of the biggest icons in pop history. And he's driving Route 66, and he's coming through Oklahoma City. And I hope he brought a map, because he sure wouldn't have known how to get through Oklahoma City on Route 66, because we had no signs. And that was fairly obvious. But then when we actually inventoried it, we discovered we had about 6 signs in the 23 miles of Route 66 in Oklahoma City, and 5 of them were at the intersection of Kelly and Memorial. So you knew where you were at Kelly and Memorial, but outside of that, you had no idea where Route 66 was. And so that started a long process. It took 4 years, and I know that sounds crazy, you know, because we're just talking about some signs at the end of the day, but you kind of had to figure out the route, you had to figure out what the signs were going to say, you had to figure out what landmarks you were going to mark. And so starting 4 years ago, we started working on that, and we really wrapped it up this summer.
And the signs look a little bit different. I think we have a picture we can show.
Yeah, it's a little tweak. They look very similar to the brown historic signs that people have probably gotten used to around the country that denote the old Route 66. With one little tweak, in the shield, it says Oklahoma City instead of Oklahoma, which is what historically it actually would have said, 50 years ago. We just thought that was a nice little touch. We wanted to give something to the people who are really fans of Route 66 and collect those signs. Don't steal our signs, but who notice those little differences, that they would see that's Oklahoma City's sign.
When we started this project, I don't think I necessarily knew that the route changed through the years. They started the route, and then they started making alterations to it for reasons that are really unclear.
Yeah, that's life, I guess. But the route that we chose to mark was the one that was the heyday. It was the route during the heyday of Route 66 from the 30s to the 50s. The city council had actually adopted sort of an official route, but as you say, it had changed. There'd been some alternates along the way, but the route that we have marked and the route that we sort of consider the official route, as you're going from west to east, it comes in on 36th, right by Lake Overholser, goes over the Lake Overholser Bridge, which the city is renovating right now. And then it passes on 39th Expressway, goes through Bethany War Acres, so technically it leaves Oklahoma City, goes through those towns, who, by the way, have done a good job of marking their routes. Comes back in Oklahoma City. Then it gets on I-40 for like a quarter of a mile. I-44. And for that, it was helpful that I moved over to the Senate, because then I was able to call ODOT and say, we need a couple signs on I-44 so we can help people navigate when it leaves city streets. From I-44, then you turn south on May Avenue. So that's May Avenue and I-44. You drive south for about a mile. You pass Taft Stadium, Northwest Classen, and then you turn east on May Avenue at 23rd. You turn east on 23rd at May Avenue. And so, you pass by some of the icons that people do associate with Route 66, like the Milk Bottle, the Gold Dome. You go right through that great area that the city streetscaped about 10 years ago, where now Big Truck Taco is and Cheevers. And then you get to the Capitol, which is on Route 66. And then you turn north on Lincoln, and you go to I-44 again, and then you get back on the highway. ODOT's got some nice signage to take you right back off, because you're only on it for a quarter of a mile. And then you get to Kelly. You take Kelly north all the way to Edmond. You leave Oklahoma City, And then, of course, as only students of Oklahoma City limits know, you then return to Oklahoma City at 192nd east of Arcadia, and then you're finally out. So we did get some signs up there, too, down at that east of Arcadia, east of Pops area that's still Oklahoma City again. But anyways, it's about 23 miles, and that's the route. And, we really hope that these signs, about 30 signs, bring a new identity to that area, and that those businesses and those institutions along that area now, they may be finding out for the first time because of these signs that they're on Route 66, and hopefully they'll use that to market themselves.
Well, no question about it. Route 66 is a tourism opportunity for us, and we should be more proud of it. I think Oklahoma as a state has more miles of Route 66 than any other state in the country that's on the route. And I can remember last year when we hosted the mayor's conference, I was joking with Mayor Daley in Chicago. He wasn't sure how he was going to get here, and I said, "Well, you just take Route 66. Come on down." I think he flew at the end of the day, but it was interesting in his mind. He was conjuring up nostalgic visits that he had taken on Route 66 with his family. Through the years leaving Chicago. Great project, and first of all, thanks for your diligence on working to get this done.
Thanks for your support.
And down the line, I know there'll be lots of other people who appreciate it and don't necessarily know whom to thank. So on behalf of the citizens of Oklahoma City, thanks for working on it when you work in our office.
Sure. No, it's my pleasure.
And thanks for all your great work at the State Senate.
No, it's my pleasure. It's my honor to represent Oklahoma City. Thank you, Mayor.
David Holt, State Senator for the state of Oklahoma. We'll be back with more on the Mayor's Magazine right after this.
Did you know 1/3 of an average landfill is made up of packaging material? Why be part of the problem? Recycling is as easy as rinsing and throwing. No need to sort. Set out the little blue bin on your regular trash day. Now it even pays to recycle. Each week, one lucky Oklahoma City resident will win $100 just for setting out their little blue bin full of the proper recyclable materials. Be part of the solution. Start recycling today.
Welcome back to the Mayor's Magazine. I'm Mick Cornett, and in this segment, we're going to talk hockey with Bob Funk. Bob, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Last year was the first year of the Oklahoma City Barons, and you're back for a second season. And kind of give us an update. How'd the first season go, and what are you looking forward to?
Well, we had a great first season. We made it to the playoffs for a first-year team. That's pretty impressive. We had nearly 10,000 people on our opening night, and we're really excited about the overall turnout. We've branched into a new demographic. We've got a younger, more educated crowd, a more vibrant crowd, and so we're pretty excited about having those new fans in the building. So we're looking to kind of build on that for this year. That's kind of our theme overall for the team is building along with Oklahoma City and everything that's going on downtown. So we're pretty excited to get going this next year. We've put together some more renovations within the building. We're doing some things as a team and adding a stage component within our show outside of what's going on the ice. So we're pretty excited about it. There's going to be a lot of new things that people are going to see and kind of a new off-ice product that hopefully people will be excited about.
And the NHL component is something that not everyone may be aware of, but we have an NHL affiliate.
Yes, we're an affiliate with the Edmonton Oilers. Great partner, great affiliate. Really are great to work with. They're going through a rebuilding phase where they kind of started over and are rebuilding their team, and we're seeing a lot of the fresh new talent. I think we'll see some of their current picks and last year's picks in the draft come into Oklahoma City out of juniors, and so we'll see some fresh raw talent, really good talent coming out of Canada, and I think we'll get to see in the next 2 to 3 years some of their really new, fresh, young players, these potential stars that are going to be playing for Edmonton, hopefully for the Stanley Cup in the next 5 or 6 years. And
your fans seem to really like the return to the Cox Center.
Yeah, they've really enjoyed coming back to a hockey facility, and for lack of a better term, it's great hockey sightlines, and it always has. And our base fans have really enjoyed the intimacy of the environment. It's kind of coming back home for them. So they've really enjoyed it. They've embraced a lot of the renovations, a lot of things that the city and SMG has done for the fans themselves within the arena, which have been great. And really, they've been really excited about it and have just really created a better environment for our team overall.
And how are season ticket sales going?
Season ticket sales are going great. We've had a really good return and renewal season. We've had a really good turnover on new season ticket holders. And current, some of our older fans have kind of come back, and maybe not to the full level, but are coming back on our partial season tickets, which has really been a component that we wanted to focus on, because 40 games or 38 games now is really kind of hard to make in the season sometimes, but there's an option out there for people to approach and be able to come, at least if they want to buy half a season. That's an option for them, and a lot of people don't realize that and know that. So we've really focused on getting out there and bringing those people into the fold and letting them know that there are other options besides just a full season ticket that you can be a part of the Barons family.
How's the relationship with Edmonton going?
Great. We've got a great partnership with them. They have been very easy to work with. I know some teams, their affiliations are a little bit adversarial, and I'm very fortunate not to have that. I've got great partners. They understand the Oklahoma City market. They feel like Oklahoma City is a lot like Edmonton. They like their players being here. They like the development model in Oklahoma City and what their players experience when they're in town, and I think it's really helped their recruiting efforts in some instances.
One thing I really like about the Cox Center and attending an event there is you park right underneath the arena and you go right upstairs and you're there. I mean, so if it's inclement weather, you never really see it.
Absolutely, and that's been something our fans have really enjoyed, and we've been able to work with the Cox Center and with some of the downtown parking facilities to offer special parking for the season during those time periods, and it's been really advantageous to our fans. Our fans have really enjoyed it. It's been something they've been really to take advantage of, and that's a great thing about the Cox is it's just all so centralized. Everything's so easy to get to. SMG and then the city both have done a great job in creating an environment there that's great for the fans, and they can feel at home and get in and out of the building very easily especially during those weekend nights when it's so busy downtown.
And how can people get tickets?
They can call 232-4625, 232-GOAL. Call our office, and we can set them up with season tickets or a half season. They can also call Ticketmaster for game night tickets. They can go straight to the box office there at the Cox Center. We're opening up some new price levels or more tickets in our lower price levels this year, as well as tweaking the scaling a little bit. So I think people come out, we tend to find people come out to one game, they kind of get hooked. They see they become part of the environment and the event itself, and they really enjoy it. So there's all those areas they can go to get tickets and come and see a game.
And you got the season starts here in October.
October
season
15th.
Opener October 9th. That's on the road. Your home opener is
October 15th. Opening weekend, October 15th and 16th. We're doing a pink out. We're partnering with the Komen Foundation and Mercy Hospital and doing a pink out on the seats with T-shirts. So we're looking forward to having that on our opening weekend. I think the 15th is going to be a great night. Open on the road on October 9th. I think we've got a great chance to open up with a win.
All right. Well, Bob, congratulations on the first year's success. I know we're looking forward to a great partnership this year.
Absolutely. I appreciate everything that you've done, and the City Council and the city and SMG. You guys have been great partners to work with. Thank you so much for everything.
Bob Funk operates the Oklahoma City Barons here in Oklahoma City and operating some great hockey for hockey fans and sports fans in general. So get out and enjoy this 2011-2012 season. We'll be back with more on the Mayor's Magazine right after this.
Did you buy the flashlight and the batteries?
Yes.
Did you make sure we're not missing anything in the first aid kit?
Yup.
Did you go through the plan with the kids again?
Yes.
The more you prepare today, the more you'll be able to reduce the devastating effects of a tornado, an earthquake, a power outage, or any other disaster. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Visit ready.gov.
Welcome back to the Mayor's Magazine. In this segment, we're going to meet with Gary Desjardins. Gary, welcome.
Thank you.
Regional General Manager with SMG, but most importantly, oversees the management and, in this case, some of the construction for the improvements that are being made at the Chesapeake Energy Arena and also the Cox Convention Center.
Correct. Yeah, it's been an exciting time for especially the last 3 years.
We've had a lot of improvements. Now, we talked in the last segment with Bob Funk about some of the improvements that have been made at the Cox Center for hockey, and you got kind of got that behind you a little bit. But now, what's been going on at the arena?
Well, the big one.
Facelift.
This is probably the biggest phase of the renovation, and I think it's the one that I think a lot of people were expecting to see and hoping to see when we first started with the renovation, because everything that we're doing right now primarily is on the entry-level concourse, and I think that's
probably getting the biggest transformation, and it really is going to be dynamic. I think this is what a lot of people were hoping to see, and I think we're going to accomplish the objectives that we set out to do, which was to really enhance the overall experience for our guests when they come to an event, whether it's a Thunder game or a concert or a family show. So the concourse with new floor finish, new bright colors, new lighting, new paint finishes on the walls, new ceiling, electronic signage everywhere, better wayfinding signage, more food options. So it really is going to be a terrific transformation for the building.
Now, as we tape this show, the NBA season's in limbo, and you do have some concerts coming up, though. Regardless of the NBA season, there's going to be events in the Chesapeake
We do.
Energy Arena.
We're going to open back up on October 10th with WWE, and then right after that we have Chris Brown on October 12th, and then Taylor Swift on October 15th, and then we have Women of Faith in November, and we have a couple other concerts that haven't been announced in November. We have Larry the Cable Guy on October 22nd. So we do have
get any better than that.
Get her done, and that's what we've been saying. Get her done on the renovation. It's there's a lot of activity going on in the facility right now on all levels. The entry level, the event level, the club level, and it's a work in progress, because even when we reopen the facility with WWE, we're still not going to be complete with all the renovations, because it's going to be rolling out in phases. So we have a portion of it that'll be ready for WWE, and then we'll have another portion of it in November, and then another portion that'll open up and be ready in January, and then in March, and then in May. So the new restaurant, for example, on the entry level won't be complete until March. So we won't have that portion and that component until March, even though we're still going to be open. So there's going to be work going on even while we're open.
I remember in 2005 when you and I were doing the now famous walkthrough with the NBA to see if our arena stood up to NBA standards. It was going to be the ultimate test of what the voters had put in and what we had built to see if the NBA could actually bring in the Hornets.
I remember that day.
And how has the building changed since then? Because although it passed the NBA litmus test then, to get the long-term lease, we knew we had to make some long-term improvements. So what differences have been made since that original design?
You know, that we've pretty much followed that plan pretty well. The biggest difference and the biggest change since that time is that the need for the practice court and the warm-up court really wasn't there, and so that was value engineered out. But everything else pretty much is there. What we set out to do, and at least in some way, shape, or form. And the biggest thing, and I guess there were three objectives there. One was to make sure that we met the NBA standards. The second was revenue enhancement, and the third was the overall guest experience and user experience, because some of the improvements that we're making are all behind the scenes. It's in broadcasting, it's for media, it's the loading dock, it's to make the users, both stagehands and roadies and the artists that are coming in and performing, as well as the NBA and the players and the athletes and all the support personnel, our personnel, the events just don't happen. So it takes all of those people and the facilities to be able to, behind the scenes, to make it work. So all of those things have gone into the renovation, as well as the creature comforts and the eye candy and the scoreboard and the lighting and all the video and all of that. So it's been a complete transformation of the facility, and it's an amazing facility when you consider everything that we can do and all the components that we have, and what it costs relative to other facilities that have been constructed in the last 10 years.
And what are the improvements that people are most going to notice?
I think the biggest thing is when you walk into either main entry, there'll be a pretty large videographic display when you first walk in, and then you'll see it as you go throughout the facility. And then on the entry level, the main concourse, the flooring and the lighting, it's going to be much brighter, it's going to be more vibrant, it's going to feel more of a modern day facility, and we had a really good building prior to the renovation. We have a much better building now, and I think it's what people expect to see in this day and age when you go to an NBA facility, to have that type of high level of finish. So we have terrazzo floors now with multiple colors, the video displays, which is all state-of-the-art technology, and some new components that you're not going to see in any other facility, particularly in the northeast lobby, with just a very dramatic video display system. It is very impressive.
Well, Gary, we appreciate all the work, and I know the fans for concerts or basketball are going to be looking forward to seeing all the improvements that they paid for.
Thank you.
All right. Gary Desjardins is the Regional General Manager for SMG, which manages both the Chesapeake Energy Arena and the Cox Convention Center, and a lot of improvements are being made at the sports arena, and I hope when you get out this year you appreciate those voter-led improvements that were passed in 2008 and are currently in the final stages of construction. We'll be back with more on the Mayor's Magazine right after this.
Oklahoma City homeowners wanting to save money on their electric and gas bills by making their home more energy efficient can apply for a green home loan offered through the City of Oklahoma City. The loans are offered to Oklahoma City residents whose household income is $100,000 or less. Residents have up to 36 months to pay back their loan, which can be up to $10,000. Some of the energy-efficient upgrades that can be made with a loan include installation of energy-efficient windows or exterior doors, adding insulation to the attic and walls, or replacing inefficient window units with central heat and air. For more information about the loans, call the Community Action Agency at 232-0199.
Welcome back to the Mayor's Magazine. In this final segment, we're going to visit with Pam Henry and George Lewis. They work on the Mayor's Committee of Disability Concerns. George is Chair Emeritus, and Pam is the current chair of that committee, and we appreciate all the work that you have done and you are still doing.
Thank you.
All right, Pam, October is a big month for disability concerns. Can you kind of explain why October is chosen as a month that we focus on a little more closely?
You've declared it in Oklahoma City, and it is nationally Disability Awareness Month. And this is the month we have our annual awards luncheon that will be at the end of October, October 26th. And we give awards to employers, employees, all different people who either overcome their disabilities or help people with disabilities to overcome theirs. And it's kind of our big push for awareness.
Mm-hmm. And architects are brought into the picture because a lot of times architects are very important in new ways of designing buildings.
We have a new award, fairly new, called Clearing the Path, and we give an award to the best accessible house, the home in Oklahoma City. And we would like to see every home made accessible, and then people could age in place. And if they just find out that in later years they need a wheelchair, the doors would already be wide enough, the bathrooms would already be accessible.
George, talk about the beginnings of this committee.
Well, actually began after World War II. President Truman was concerned about the returning veterans who were disabled during the war and about their ability to work. And so he appointed a committee. The committee studied and came back to him and said, well, not only veterans, but there's a whole cadre of disabled people in the United States. And so he set up the President's Committee on Employment of the Handicapped. And from that, we got the Governor's Committee on Employment of the Handicapped and the Mayor's Committee on Employment of the Handicapped. And in 1990, when the Americans with Disabilities Act came into being, it was determined that not only going to work, but all of the problems that the disabled had. So the name was changed to the Mayor's Committee on Disability Concerns.
What's the future of the organization? What projects are you all working on now?
Well, we're working on several. Pam can probably enlighten you more.
We're working on a brochure for street safety. Just recently, we've had another accident where a person in a wheelchair was struck by a car. People with disabilities need to know their rules of the road. They are entitled to do anything in a wheelchair that a pedestrian does. But they have to walk against traffic, and they have to cross the road at crosswalks. There are rules and laws, and then drivers need to please be careful and watchful. So that's one of our big pushes, and then all the sidewalks all over Oklahoma City. You've appointed me to the MAPS 3 Oversight Committee on Trails and Sidewalks, and we're going to build 70 miles of sidewalks, and then Project 180 will have sidewalks downtown. And people with disabilities want to go to work, and the buses are accessible, but you have to be able to get to the bus.
Right, absolutely. So how will the streets improve with the ADA aspect of Project 180?
Well, we're going to teach with our brochure people in wheelchairs or scooters or whatever how to safely navigate the streets, but a sidewalk is 90% more safe. And so with all the sidewalks that are being built, that is what will be.
And the curb cuts
and
that
the
have been.
curb cuts that go with it.
How is life for a person with disabilities improving in Oklahoma City through the years, Pam?
I think it's excellent. I've lived here all my life, and people ask me, how is your life since the ADA was passed? It is better. And for all the people who are kind enough to leave the handicap parking spots open for me, bless you. One day I went to a meeting at the Capitol, and I have a van that the door opens, and then I have to have room to get my chair out. There was no spot like that anywhere. I had to go home. So those spots are very important. So since the ADA, that has helped. Also, the fact that Oklahoma City has room to have parking lots is a big plus.
Yeah.
What do people with disabilities say are their top needs?
They've done surveys, and people with disabilities say number one is transportation, and that transportation is needed for employment. You can't apply for a job if you can't get to the job. And, you know, you can sometimes take a bus every day to work and take a bus home, but the bus routes aren't everywhere that they need to be expanded.
Well, and the stops normally are above a curb, so if you're in a wheelchair, how do you get up the curb?
They have to be accessible. But transportation is number one, and employment is number two.
And some of the organizations that are honored at your annual event are corporate citizens who have gone above and beyond what might necessarily be expected.
Right.
There have been some marvelous employers that have done above and beyond. Reasonable accommodation, I think, isn't that right? Is what the ADA requires. And these employers go way beyond what would be called reasonable.
All right, well, give us, do you know the date of the event this year?
It is Wednesday, October 26th. People can come and hear you speak. And they can find out all about it by going to our website, which is on www.okc.gov, and then they'll be able to find it from there, or send us an email. We'd love to have hundreds of people at our luncheon.
And people are welcome to come, even if they haven't been involved. Do you need volunteers at any level at this organization?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, if they want to contact me, if you go to our website, then you can find the email, or just call the mayor's office and they'll give you the email.
They'll do that anyway.
No, don't shoot me for that.
That's okay.
But we thank you for all you do for people with disabilities.
Well, you're the one that deserves our thanks, and on behalf of the citizens of Oklahoma City, thanks for your continued work on these important efforts. And George, through the years, your work has certainly been acknowledged, but one more time, thank you very much for what you've done.
Thank you.
Pam Henry and George Lewis. You have one more final comment?
George helped write the Americans with Disabilities Act.
There you go, a true pioneer in this field.
He is indeed.
That's going to do it for this edition of the Mayor's Magazine. We'll be back next month with another show. We'll see you then.
I'm Lee Criswell with Street Maintenance. Help us while we repair your city streets. Please slow down and be alert in all work zones.